Here's your Napa race summary as we get ready to go back to green, ending the 5th caution flag of the day. Kenny Wallace got the free pass. That gives us 29 lead lap cars as Tony Stewart brings them around. Green flag once again.
Now Ryan Newman in that blue 12 right there, I watched him right before that caution. He had run Tony Stewart back down 2 laps down after making an unscheduled stop back on lap 96, trying to get one of those laps back, and then he'd be eligible for the free pass if he can get the 1 down.
If I was Tony Stewart, I was racing a guy 2 laps down, I might just let him go on for a little while.
Get him out of my way.
Newman's got to go because being 2 laps down, he would not be the free pass car right now. And Stewart lets him go.
I think he wanted to send him a little message. Hey, dude, I'm the leader of the race.
Say, he lets him go, but he wanted to let him know.
Yeah. I think Ryan's got a really good race car right now. Tony did the right thing. I don't know if it was on purpose or not.
Yeah, because if he raced him very long side by side, that 19 and that 9 and that 26, they were going to be right there.
Well, I haven't seen any side-by-side racing without somebody making contact, so that was what I was thinking.
Greg Biffle is in 8th place. He's the 2nd Ford in the race to his teammate Jamie McMurray at number 16.
Been watching that number 29 car. We're riding with him right now. Started back in 40th position, just been nice and steady, trying to stay out of trouble, and he's made his way to the top 10 and 9th.
Mike, I got to tell you, I drove that car yesterday that Jack Roush and the boys been sent up here, and Jimmy Finning set it up. And if their cars drive anything like that car did, they're going to be tough today. I was so impressed with how well that car drove and handled.
Lapping past Robbie Gordon. Gordon had put the bumper to Montoya just 2 laps ago as Montoya roughed him up a little bit by getting around. Here comes McMurray hunting 3rd place. Gets it.
Oh, trouble. Turn 2, guys. The 6 around again.
David Reagan. Everybody scatters to miss him.
Caution will fly. Good news for Ryan Newman. He gets one of those laps back.
We're okay.
The hard way by driving by the leader.
Well, it's early in the race, and Tony didn't need to be racing Ryan Newman right now. So that was a good move on both of them's part.
Well, there's a time to be aggressive, and Ryan Newman picked the right time. He was the first car in line on the inside where the lapped cars go. He got past Stewart and got one of his laps back.
Don't race people that can't beat you. And right now he can't beat him. When he gets back on the lead lap, that'll be different.
The free pass car will be Sterling Marlin, and that'll put 30 cars on the lead lap. Let's ride with Kyle Petty.
Spinning in front of you, spinning in front of you. Low, 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 low. There you go. Good job, good job.
There was a car right behind David Reagan, but hard to see if there was any contact.
Mike
not so hard here.
In the 49 car. There's a lot of them just barely got by that.
You know how I can tell these cars aren't going very fast? You can spin out and not hit anything.
Which normally doesn't happen at Bristol.
Nope.
Let's see what's spinning around down at the Thunder Valley Motel and Catfish Farm.
Got a lot of noise down here watching the race with Jeff. And Jeff, talked about competitive balance in this race. The new car, a slower pace, does that make for better racing?
Well, I think it doesn't matter. Speed's not an issue here. It's how these guys do getting around the racetrack. And I think that's the key thing right now is whether or not they're going to be able to go side by side. It looks to me like they're starting to get a little bit of upper groove coming in, but so far these guys still do not look very smooth. I mean, I think more pit stops. Darrell had a really good point. The more they can work on the car, these cars should get better the further we go.
Tony Stewart has dominated. There have been 2 other previous Bristol races when he's led but hasn't won. Early action you see in the 17, Matt Kenseth bumping into Dale Jarrett. Dale Jarrett not happy about it.
Hard lick right there about 38. Yeah, he's definitely upset.
What can you do for me? You can knock me out of the race. And then moments ago, Juan Pablo Montoya coming off that 5th place finish of last week, trying to squeeze into a place, and Darrell had pointed it out moments before. He's riding a little recklessly out there and gets into Tony Raines and brings out another caution flag. Just a couple of other thoughts to keep an eye. Casey Kane trying to crack that top 25. Larry and Darrell Mike talked about Dodges and Evernham. He's run kind of a steady, cautious race. I guess coming in, had to drive with a certain sense of urgency, but cautiously.
Well, it is Bristol. You got to get up on the wheel, and he needed to have a really strong race. This guy here, Ray Evernham, he knows how to get to victory lane. He's been here several times with Jeff Gordon being a crew chief there, so I'm sure he's up there along with Kenny Francis right now, back kind of like business as usual for the Evernham group with all their crew chiefs back in place. Now Ray can kind of help Kenny and help these guys get up through there.
Let's take a look at the Dodge Chargers that are doing well. Elliott Sadler currently running second, and you see Kurt Busch, who of course has won 5 of the last 10 Bristol races, 15th at the moment. And
Elliott Sadler has won a race here before, so he knows what he's doing also.
Regan Smith running for the 01 car, and Mark Martin, who's watching this race, the points leader coming in for Bobby Ginn Chevrolet, a lap down, and really hasn't been around the front of the pack.
Well, it's his first Cup race of the year, really, and I think a lot of pressure on this young man. But the key thing for him right now, if he can finish, just survive today and keep him up there in the points as far as the owner is concerned, that's his main mission right now.
And hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
It's a DW. I don't know. We named all of our cars, and I think Avenger. If back in the day, I'd have loved to have had a car named the Avenger, wouldn't you?
Oh, I would have loved to have had that, but I mean, we had to settle for names like Kermit and
Miss Piggy,
Miss Piggy, and then Betty, but the key thing about it was, remember we had 007 because of how fast you ran at Charlotte at one time. But I think all of these things being said have to do with drivers being comfortable enough to be able to name a car. Because I know there's a few of them you had, we can't say that on television, can we?
No, they weren't all pretty names.
No.
Well, wasn't it Tony Stewart, though, who coming in called like a fast flying brick is what he called driving the new car, and he's dominated so far.
He's looked really strong so far as far as Tony Stewart. He was great in practice, and he's still great here today. Mike?
I've said it before, I'll say it again. You put wheels on a cockroach, Stewart will find a way to win with it. And he has dominated this race thus far. He's led 141 of the 167 laps. But Elliott Sadler draws ever closer. Jamie McMurray is the fastest Ford. Casey Kane, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson, Greg Biffle, and Kevin Harvick.
I wonder if Juan wouldn't possibly rough up Tony Stewart, would he?
No, and I didn't see that accident with Raines as being his fault. The one with David Reagan before, maybe. But this being a tough place to get around for any of the rookies.
Don't forget the old common denominator factor, though.
Oh, yeah. And NASCAR pretty much reminded Montoya in the 42, Robbie Gordon the 7, have a good clean restart, because right now Robbie Gordon's 1 lap down, Montoya is 3 down in that 42 car.
It makes me feel good when they do stuff like that. It means they're watching the same race we are.
That's Montoya's three laps behind because he couldn't get his car started after spinning out in the back straightaway. So Stewart has a lapped car separating him from second place Elliott Sadler. Not for long. Here comes Sadler under Montoya.
I believe Sadler's got something for Tony when he gets to him, guys. Didn't he win a race here 4 or 5 years ago?
Driving a 21 car, beat the 43 car, like what Mike talked about a while ago.
Exciting race.
Our first race at Bristol with NASCAR on Fox.
Let's see the gap, and indeed it shrinks a little bit between Stewart and Sadler.
We did have about 7 or 8 of our lead lap cars, again, cars at the back of the pack, come to pit road, still trying to make adjustments on their car, including pole sitter Jeff Gordon.
131 miles an hour into the corner here.
And you can see how long it takes all the way up on the straightaway before he even think about 100% throttle, only for about 2 or 3 seconds.
That's 650 feet. That's all that is. Not much straightaway.
Pretty good bit of use of the brake getting in these corners. 36 degrees of banking, more banking than at Daytona or Talladega.
And Larry, you do use a lot more brake here than we used to. I'm not sure why, but I noticed driving it, you use a lot more brake. I guess because you're going 130 mile an hour down the straightaway.
Riding with Tony Raines here, looking back at Ryan Newman, got one of those laps back. Now he's trying to work his way up there to become the first car lap down to get that free pass, and he'd be back on the lead lap.
This is for position for 35th. Daylight savings time came early this year, and so does Fox Saturday Baseball, coming at you in April with lots of great matchups.
Jimmy Johnson, that 48 car, just had a pretty close call with Robbie Gordon over in the 7, coming off turn 2 that last lap.
Yeah, Jimmy moved him out of the way, and Robbie would like to have gotten back to him, but he wasn't fast enough. Jimmy gives him a little shot. Gives Robbie Gordon in the 7 car a little shot off the corner over here, mainly because he just felt like he was holding him up. Gets behind him right here, rides him down in the corner, gets a little run underneath of him, gives him a little toot there.
It's what we used to call the chrome horn. Of course, they're not chrome anymore. Matt?
Jimmy Johnson running in the 7th position. His car still free on exit. That's one concern they're going to try to work on the next stop. Another thing, they told Jimmy that he was actually going too slow. He's on the first pit stall off turn 2. They told him he can actually pick up his pace just a little bit. He was at least 5 miles an hour below the pit road speed.
Yeah, it's just such a fine line here. We've seen so much pit road speeding penalties. That's the last thing you want at a racetrack like this. You want to get right against it, but do not go over it. And NASCAR actually gives these guys a 5 mile an hour buffer. Pit road speed 30 miles an hour. They will give them up to 35.
Tell you one thing I'm seeing I haven't seen here in a long time. I see a bunch of guys trying to move up high, trying to ride the rim a little bit. I haven't seen that here in years.
Wait till August, because they're going to dig this track up and put a progressive banking in it. So the short way around may not be the fast way around when they re-concrete this track.
I helped start the race today, and when it's over with, I'm going to help tear it down.